Let us talk about land and its uses. Land is the most basic resource in agriculture. Without land, you cannot grow crops or raise animals. Understanding land and how to use it properly is essential for your exams. This is topic 2. We are discussing land and its uses. By the end of this lesson, you will understand what land means in agriculture, the characteristics of land, the uses of land, factors affecting land use, land tenure systems, and how to answer exam questions. Take your notes. Let us go. First, what is land in agriculture? Land is not just the soil. In agriculture, land includes the soil, the water on it, the air above it, the plants and animals on it, and the minerals beneath it. Land is a natural resource. It is given by nature. It is not made by humans. Land is fixed in supply. No one can make more land. The total amount of land on Earth is limited. Land is also indestructible. It does not wear out if used properly. However, land can be damaged by erosion, pollution, and poor farming practices. Now let me explain the characteristics of land. These are the features that make land different from other factors of production. The first characteristic is that land is a free gift of nature. Humans did not create land. It existed before humans. The second characteristic is that land is fixed in supply. You cannot increase the amount of land. You can reclaim land from the sea or clear forests, but the total is limited. The third characteristic is that land is permanent. Land does not wear out. It can be used again and again. The fourth characteristic is that land is immovable. You cannot move land from one place to another. The location of land is fixed. The fifth characteristic is that land has no cost of production. Because land is a gift of nature, no one paid to produce it. However, when land is bought and sold, it has a price. The sixth characteristic is that land has many uses. The same piece of land can be used for farming, building houses, building factories, or building roads. The seventh characteristic is that land varies in quality. Some land is fertile. Some land is poor. Some land is flat. Some land is hilly. Now, let me explain the uses of land. Land is used for many purposes. The first use is agriculture. This is the most important use of land for our subject. Agricultural land is used for crop production, animal grazing, fish farming, and forestry. The second use is housing. Land is used to build houses, apartments, and other residential buildings. The third use is industry. Land is used for factories, warehouses, and industrial parks. The fourth use is transportation. Land is used for roads, railways, airports, and seaports. The fifth use is recreation. Land is used for parks, playgrounds, sports fields, and golf courses. The sixth use is commerce. Land is used for markets, shops, offices, and banks. The seventh use is education. Land is used for schools, colleges, and universities. The eighth use is healthcare. Land is used for hospitals, clinics, and health centres. The ninth use is government. Land is used for government offices, courts, and military bases. The 10th use is waste disposal. Land is used for landfills and sewage treatment plants. Different pieces of land are better suited for different uses. Flat land is good for farming and building. Hilly land is better for forestry and grazing. Now let me explain the factors affecting land use. Many factors determine how land is used. The first factor is soil fertility. Fertile soil is used for crop production. Poor soil is used for grazing or forestry. The second factor is climate. Areas with good rainfall are used for farming. Dry areas are used for grazing or left unused. The third factor is topography. Flat land is used for crop production. Steep slopes are used for forestry or left as forest. The fourth factor is water availability. Land near rivers or lakes is used for farming. Dry land is used for grazing or left unused. The fifth factor is population density. In densely populated areas, Land is used for housing and industry. In sparsely populated areas, land is used for agriculture. The sixth factor is government policy. Governments can decide that certain land must be used for certain purposes. They can create national parks, forest reserves, and urban zones. The seventh factor is technology. Better technology allows land to be used more intensively. Irrigation allows farming in dry areas. Fertilizers allow farming on poor soil. The eighth factor is economic factors. If the price of a crop is high, farmers will use more land for that crop. If the price is low, they will use less land. The ninth factor is cultural factors. Some people value land for cultural or religious reasons. They may not want to use it for certain purposes. The 10th factor is land tenure. How land is owned affects how it is used. Farmers who own their land are more likely to invest in improving it. Now let me explain land tenure systems. Land tenure is the system of land ownership and rights to use land. There are several types of land tenure. The first is freehold tenure. Under freehold, the owner has complete rights to the land. They can use it, sell it, rent it, or give it away. They own the land forever. Freehold is the most secure form of land ownership. The second is leasehold tenure. Under leasehold, the user pays rent to the owner for the right to use the land for a specified period. The lease can be for a few years or many years. When the lease ends, the land goes back to the owner. The third is customary tenure. Under customary tenure, land is owned by the community. The chief or village head allocates land to families. Individuals do not own the land. They only have the right to use it. This system is common in many rural areas. The fourth is tenancy. Under tenancy, a tenant farmer rents land from a landlord. The tenant pays rent in cash or as a share of the harvest. Sharecropping is a type of tenancy where the tenant gives a portion of the harvest to the landlord. The fifth is government land. Some land is owned by the government. This includes national parks, forest reserves, and government farms. The sixth is outright purchase. The buyer pays the full price and becomes the owner. This is similar to freehold. Now, let me explain the advantages and disadvantages of each land tenure system. Freehold gives the farmer security. They can invest in improving the land. They can use the land as collateral for loans. But freehold can lead to fragmentation. When land is divided among children, plots become too small. Leasehold allows land to be used without buying it. It can be flexible, but the tenant may not invest in improvements because they do not own the land. Customary tenure provides land for community members. It preserves traditional systems, but it can discourage investment because individuals do not own the land. Tenancy allows poor farmers to access land. The landlord gets income without farming, but sharecropping often leads to exploitation. The tenant may not get a fair share. Government land can be used for public purposes, but it may be mismanaged because it is not privately owned. Now let me explain land degradation. Land degradation is the decline in the quality of land. It makes land less productive. Causes of land degradation include deforestation, overgrazing, erosion, pollution, and poor farming practices. Deforestation removes trees that hold the soil. Without trees, the soil is easily washed away. Overgrazing occurs when too many animals eat the grass. The grass cannot regrow. The soil becomes bare and erodes. Erosion is the removal of topsoil by water or wind. Topsoil is the most fertile part of the soil. When it is gone, crops cannot grow well. Pollution from chemicals, waste, and oil damages the soil. Poor farming practices like continuous cropping without fertilizer deplete soil nutrients. Solutions to land degradation include afforestation, which is planting trees, crop rotation, which is changing crops each season, contour ploughing, which ploughs across slopes to reduce erosion, terracing, which creates steps on slopes, mulching, which covers the soil with plant material, using organic fertilizer, and practicing conservation agriculture. A common exam question asks you to define land and explain its characteristics. Here is a sample answer. In agriculture, land includes the soil, water, air, plants, animals, and minerals. The characteristics of land are that it is a free gift of nature, fixed in supply, permanent, immovable, has no cost of production, has many uses, and varies in quality. These characteristics make land different from other factors of production. Another exam question asks you to list the uses of land. Here is your answer. Land is used for agriculture, housing, industry, transportation, recreation, commerce, education, healthcare, government, and waste disposal. Agriculture is the most important use for our subject. Land used for crop production, animal grazing, fish farming, and forestry. Another exam question asks you to explain different land tenure systems. Here is your answer. Freehold means the owner has complete rights to the land forever. Leasehold means the user pays rent for the right to use the land for a period. Customary means the community owns the land and allocates it to families. Tenancy means a tenant farmer rents from a landlord. Government land is owned by the state. Each system has advantages and disadvantages for farmers and for agricultural development. Here is what you need to take away. Land includes soil, water, air, plants, animals, and minerals. It is a free gift of nature, fixed in supply and permanent. Land is used for agriculture, housing, industry, and many other purposes. Land use is affected by soil fertility, climate, population, government policy, and land tenure. Land tenure systems include freehold, leasehold, customary, tenancy, and government land. Land degradation is a serious problem. It can be prevented by good farming practices. Practice these concepts. When you have them down, move to topic 3.